The Noble Mahayana Sutra, Maitreya's Birth in the Heaven of Joy. Homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Thus did I hear at one time. The Blessed One was staying in Shravasti, in Prince Jeta's Grove, Anathapindada's Park, along with a great congregation of monks and many bodhisattva great beings. Then, during the first watch of the night, golden light rays emerged from the Blessed One's body and circled Jeta's Grove 7 times. The light made contact with the householder Sudatta and others. Then a golden light filled the sky like clouds, raining down golden flowers all over Shravasti. Amidst this golden light appeared an immeasurable number of hundreds of thousands of emanated thus gone ones. They spoke in unison about the 1,000 bodhisattvas to awaken in this eon, from the awakening firstly of Krakuchanda until the awakening finally of Rocha. After they had spoken, the light of the thus gone ones roused an entire retinue which gathered around them like cloud banks. The retinue consisted of Venerable Ajna Kaundinya, who arose from absorption with a retinue of 250 monks, Venerable Mahakashyapa, with a retinue of 250 monks, Venerable Maudgayayana, with a retinue of 250 monks, Venerable Shariputra, with a retinue of 250 monks, 1,000 fully ordained nuns, including Mahaprajapati, 3,000 laymen, including the householder Sudatta, 2,000 lay women, including Vishaka, the 16 bodhisattvas of the fortunate eon, including Samantabhadra, and 500 bodhisattvas, including the Dharma Prince Manjushri, as well as gods, nāgas, yakshas, and asuras. The Blessed One then produced 1,000 light rays from his tongue. Each ray of light had 1,000 colors, and within each color appeared an immeasurable number of emanated thus gone ones. All these thus gone ones then taught in unison the profound dharanis that show the purity of all phenomena, which all great bodhisattvas possess. They included the dharani called Limitless Gateway, the dharani called Wisdom of Emptiness, the dharani called Unobscured Nature, and the dharani called Great Liberation Without Marks. With a single voice, they spoke billions of such dharani gateways. When they had spoken those dharani gateways, Maitreya, who was present in the retinue, attained 10 trillion dharani gateways at the very instant that he heard what the Blessed One taught. He rose from his seat, adjusted his robes, joined his palms together, and then settled himself before the Blessed One. Next, Venerable Upali rose from his seat, bowed his head, and addressed the Blessed One. Blessed One, long ago, in one of your treasured teachings, the Blessed One spoke of Ajita's future awakening. Ajita is not yet free from the body of an ordinary person, and his defilements have not yet been exhausted. He has gone forth in this life, but has neither cultivated absorption nor abandoned the afflictions. Yet the Blessed One has said that he is certain to become awakened. Therefore, when Ajita's life is over, in which realm will he be reborn? The Blessed One responded to Upali, Upali, take heed and listen. Since the thus gone one is omniscient, I have prophesied that within this retinue, the Bodhisattva great being Maitreya will fully awaken to unsurpassed and perfect Buddhahood. 12 years from now, he will pass away and undoubtedly take birth in the heaven of joy. In the heaven of joy, there are 500 quintillion gods, each of whom practices the profound perfection of generosity. Thus the gods have used the power of their divine merit to construct celestial palaces to worship this bodhisattva, who has only one birth remaining. To do so, they first removed their robes, sandalwood jewelry, and precious crowns. They knelt, joined their palms together, and prayed, "With our priceless jewels and divine crowns, we wish to worship the great bodhisattva. We have heard the prophecy that Ajita will awaken to unsurpassed and perfect Buddhahood not long in the future. So may our precious crowns transform into substances for the worship of his fully adorned Buddha realm." Each god knelt and made this prayer. As soon as all the gods had made this prayer, all their jeweled crowns transformed into 500 quintillion palaces. Each precious palace contained 7 parks, each of which was made of 7 precious substances. Each precious substance emitted 5 billion rays of light, from each of which came 5 billion lotuses. From each lotus emerged 5 billion rows of trees, made of the 7 precious substances. The leaves of each tree held 5 billion light rays in dazzling colors, and each of these dazzling colors emitted a further 5 billion light rays, the color of Jambu River gold. From each of these Jambu gold light rays emerged 5 billion precious goddesses. Each goddess sat beneath the trees, holding in her hands 5 billion garlands with countless gems, and singing the loveliest songs about the Dharma wheel of the non-regressing level. Fruit grew in the trees with a color like beryl, and all these colors were reflected in the beryl. As all the light rays swirled clockwise, many pleasant voices could be heard teaching the Dharma of great love and great compassion. Each palace was 62 leagues in height and 14 leagues in width. 5 billion Naga kings encircled each palace, beautifying it from above by causing rain to fall over the 5 billion trees made of the 7 precious substances. Natural breezes caused the trees to sway to and fro, so that they resounded with the words of impermanence, suffering, emptiness, selflessness, and all the perfections. At that time, inside his palace, the great king Laodubati rose from his seat, prostrated to all the thus gone ones in the 10 directions, and made the following prayer. If I possess the merit to construct a Dharma palace for the Bodhisattva Maitreya, may precious gems spontaneously appear from between my eyebrows. As soon as he made this prayer, 1 billion jewels appeared. They had formed in all different colors like beryl and other gems, and were transparent like crystal. The jewels first circled the empty sky, and then transformed into an amazing jeweled palace with 49 stories. Each railing of each story was adorned by 1 trillion jeweled lotuses. 90 million gods and 5 billion goddesses, born miraculously, stood among these railings. In the hands of each god were immeasurably many hundreds of millions of lotuses, each made of the 7 precious substances. Above each lotus shone immeasurably many millions of lights. Inside these lights were divine musical instruments that spontaneously resounded without being played. As the music played, the goddesses rose, took hold of the musical instruments, danced and sang lovely songs about the 10 virtues, the 4 aspirations, and so on. All the gods who heard this generated the mindset upon unsurpassed awakening. Inside each park were reservoirs of beryl in 8 hues. The interior of each reservoir was made of 5 billion jewels, and filled with water possessing the 8 qualities that spouted up from below. Outside the 4 entrances were 4 miraculously arisen lotuses. The water that emerged around these lotuses flowed with the color of the precious blossoms. Atop each lotus were 24 goddesses of wondrous beauty, adorned and bearing physical marks like bodhisattvas. 5 billion jeweled vessels appeared in their hands. Each vessel was filled to the brim with divine ambrosia. Draped over their left shoulders were countless garlands, and balanced against their right shoulders were countless musical instruments. Like clouds, they hovered in the sky and came forth from the water. The goddesses extolled the 6 perfections of the bodhisattvas. Any god born in the heaven of joy was naturally served by these goddesses. In the palace stood a lion throne made of the 7 precious substances. It was 4 leagues in height and adorned with gold from the Jambu River and countless jewels. At the 4 corners of the throne were 4 lotuses, each made of 100 precious jewels, each of which emitted 1 billion rays of light. The light produced the most beautiful flowers, which were made of a variety of gems, which in turn adorned the precious draperies. 10 billion Brahma kings each brought their own beautiful chimes from the Brahma heavens and hung them over the draperies. Lesser Brahma kings likewise draped nets of various jewels over the draperies. A retinue of countless hundreds of thousands of gods and goddesses brought forth a great variety of jeweled lotus flowers and scattered them over the throne. These lotuses in turn produced 5 billion goddesses, made of gems, who stood among the draperies with white tail whisks in their hands. At the 4 corners of the palace were 4 jeweled pillars. Each jeweled pillar consisted of 100,000 mansions, and the gems of these goddesses were draped between them. On the railings of the palace stood 100,000 goddesses of amazing beauty, holding countless musical instruments in their hands. Their music resounded with the words of suffering, emptiness, impermanence, selflessness, and all the perfections. The divine palace was filled with immeasurably many billions of beautiful gems, and all the goddesses manifested in colors that matched those gems. Thereupon, all the countless gods throughout the 10 directions made prayers for rebirth in this divine palace in the heaven of joy. Now, in that palace in the heaven of joy, there are 5 great kings. The first great king is known as Ratnadvaja. A rain of the 7 precious substances is released from his body and scatters inside the palace. Each precious substance then transforms into countless musical instruments that hang in midair. Without being played, they spontaneously emit limitless beautiful music that pleases the minds of beings. The second king is known as Flower Scatterer. A rain of manifold flowers is released from his body, forming parasols of flowers that cover the entire palace. Each parasol has hundreds of thousands of flags and streamers that guide one along the way. The third king is known as Incense Voice. From the pores of his body, he rains down a wondrous incense of the sandalwood found at the ocean's shore. The incense forms a cloud with hundreds of colors, which circles the palace 7 times. The fourth great king is known as Joyous Bliss. A rain of wish-fulfilling jewels is released from his body. Each jewel naturally finds its place atop the flags and streamers, where it resounds with teachings on seeking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, as well as the 5 branches of discipline, countless virtuous qualities, all the perfections, and the aids to Maitreya's awakening. The fifth great king is known as Fierce Voice. He rains down water from all the pores of his body. 5 billion lotus flowers float on each water drop, and each lotus supports 25 crystal goddesses. Ringing out from every pore on the body of each crystal goddess is the lovely sound of victory over the divine Mara. The Blessed One continued addressing Upali. In the heaven of joy, beings practice the 10 virtues, return the kindness of the victorious ones, and have the merit to produce great wonders. Even if I were to spend an entire lesser eon explaining the fruits of how a bodhisattva bound by one life will return kindness and practice the 10 virtues, it would not be exhaustive. Nevertheless, I will now briefly teach you and the others about this. Upali, whether it is a single monk or the entire retinue, anyone who has not yet grown weary of birth and death and wishes to be reborn in a divine realm, must generate the mindset upon unsurpassed awakening. The observances for those who wish to serve Maitreya are as follows. Perfect the observance of the 8 precepts, including the 5 requisites. Be ceaseless in physical and mental diligence. Practice the 10 virtues. Desire abundant happiness, and maintain a one-pointed desire to be reborn in the heaven of joy. This is known as the right observance, while any other observance is known as a wrong observance. Then Upali rose from his seat, adjusted his robes, bowed his head, and asked the Blessed One, Blessed One, as there is such sublime happiness in the heaven of joy, when will this great being be reborn from Jambudvipa into that divine realm? The Blessed One replied, 12 years from now, on the 15th day of the 2nd month of spring, Maitreya will return to the place where he took birth, the household of the great Brahmin Bavari, in the village of Kapali, in the region of Varanasi. There he will sit in the lotus posture, as if he were resting in utter absorption. His body's golden luster and the red rays of light it emits will be brighter than 100,000 suns, reaching up to the heaven of joy above. His physical remains will stay still and unmoving, like a golden statue. From the sphere of light that surrounds his body, the syllables of the threefold liberation and the perfection of insight will distinctly emerge. Gods and humans will all be drawn there to worship the precious stupa with his physical remains. Maitreya will then be miraculously reborn in the heaven of joy, in that palace made of the 7 precious substances. As he sits cross-legged on a lotus flower atop the lion throne within the palace, his body will shine like gold from the Jambu River. His body will be 16 leagues tall and fully adorned with the 32 major marks and the 80 excellent minor marks. There will be a topknot on his head, and his hair will resemble the color of beryl. His divine crown will be adorned with jewels such as Chakra Bilagna and Kimshuka. The gems in his divine crown will shine with the colors of 1 billion jewels. In each of the colors there will be immeasurably many billions of emanated thus gone ones, along with a multitude of emanated bodhisattvas who act as their servants. All the bodhisattvas from other pure lands will display the 18 miracles and take up residence inside the divine crown as they wish. While rays of light will then emerge from between Maitreya's eyebrows, the light will cause the 32 major marks to manifest in the colors of hundreds of jewels. Within each major mark will be the minor marks, which in turn will manifest in the colors of 5 billion jewels. Also, within each minor mark, gods will manifest whose major and minor marks blaze in the colors of 5 billion gems. Each god will sit on a lotus within an orb of 84,000 light rays. Maitreya will continuously turn the Dharma wheel of the non-regressing level day and night. He will set these 5 billion gods toward a single destination, accomplish their aims, and make them non-regressing from unsurpassed and complete awakening. Day and night within the heaven of joy, he will continuously establish all gods in the Dharma wheel of the non-regressing level. Then, after 56 trillion Jambudvipa years, the discourse called Maitreya's Birth from the Heaven of Joy into Jambudvipa will be taught. Upali, the qualities associated with the Bodhisattva Maitreya passing away from this world and being reborn in the heaven of joy, are as follows. After the thus gone one passes into nirvana, some among my attendant retinue will diligently accumulate merit, maintain their vows, sweep stupas, construct mandalas, burn fragrant incense, offer flowers, practice the threefold liberation, practice the profound and true Dharma, recite the sutras and continuously keep them single-pointedly in mind, acquire the 6 super-knowledges, make statues of the thus gone ones, recite the name of Maitreya, and other such things. When it comes time for them to pass away, after they have received the 8 vows, purified all misdeeds, and made prayers, they will instantly be born in the heaven of joy, just as quickly as a strong man can stretch out his arm. Then they will sit cross-legged atop lotus flowers, as hundreds of thousands of gods play divine music, scatter Mandarava and great Mandarava flowers, and praise them, saying, "Excellent, excellent. Noble sons, you have accumulated vast merit in Jambudvipa, and now, upon dying, you have arrived here in the heaven of joy. You should request refuge from the divine King Maitreya and prostrate to him. When you prostrate to him, white light will emerge from the urna hair between his eyebrows and touch you, liberating you from 90 eons of birth and death and purifying your misdeeds." Now that I have explained the marvelous Dharma of the benefits of affiliating oneself with this bodhisattva, sentient beings should not abandon their diligence, but should bring to mind the non-regressing Dharma wheel and the unsurpassed path. As they purify their misdeeds and engage in the 6 practices, they will undoubtedly be born in the heaven of joy and come face to face with the noble Maitreya. Having entered into Maitreya's service, they will then first hear his Dharma in Jambudvipa. They will come face to face with all the future Buddhas of this present eon, as well as all the Buddhas in as many other eons as there are stars in the sky. In the presence of all those Buddhas, they will receive prophecies of their own awakening. Upali, after the thus gone one has passed into nirvana, within all my retinues of monks, nuns, gods, nāgas, yakshas, gandharvas, asuras, garudas, kinnaras, and mahoragas, anyone who hears the name of the Bodhisattva, great being Maitreya, and venerates him with joy and respect, shall attain all that was just mentioned in the mere snap of a finger, once they pass away. Upon hearing Maitreya's name, they will no longer fall into the realms of darkness upon death, nor will they be reborn in any outlying regions, nor among people with wrong views or non-virtuous behaviors. Such people will be reborn in every lifetime where the view is proper, the retinue is abundant, and the 3 jewels are never disgraced. Upali, if those noble sons or daughters who have broken their vows or committed unwholesome misdeeds hear the name of the Bodhisattva of great compassion, call out his name, place their full body on the ground, and confess with an undistracted mind the entirety of their misdeeds, will swiftly be purified. If anyone in the future speaks the name of the Bodhisattva of great compassion, paints his image, offers him incense, flowers, fabrics, parasols, banners, or flags, venerates him, or recalls his name, then upon passing away, the Bodhisattva Maitreya will radiate light from the Ona hair between his eyebrows, one of the marks of a great being, and all the gods will send down a rain of Mandarava flowers to welcome them as they are instantly reborn in the divine realm. They will meet face to face with the noble Maitreya and bow their heads to him. At that very moment, they will hear the Dharma, attain the path of unsurpassed awakening, and obtain the non-regressing wheel of Dharma. In future lives, they will behold as many thus gone ones as there are grains of sand in the Ganges River. Upali, listen attentively and pay heed. When sentient beings in the future take refuge in the Bodhisattva Maitreya, those who do so will attain the unsurpassed path and the non-regressing wheel of Dharma. Then, once the Bodhisattva Maitreya attains the state of a thus gone one, a worthy one, a perfect Buddha, those people will see the light of that thus gone one and receive a prophecy. Upali, after the thus gone one's nirvana, when the time comes for anyone, whether they are in the 4 retinues or a god, naga, or yaksha, to be reborn in the heaven of joy, then they must engage in the following contemplations. Thinking of the heaven of joy, they should take up the vows of the thus gone one. Then, whether for a single day or for up to 7 days, they should contemplate the 10 virtues and practice the path of the 10 virtues. Then the merit from this practice should be dedicated and the aspiration made to be in the presence of Maitreya. Those who carry out these contemplations will behold a god and a lotus. Those who recite the name of Maitreya even once will be freed from 1200 eons of birth and death and will have their misdeeds purified. Those who hear the name of Maitreya and join their palms together will be freed from 50 eons of birth and death. Those who respectfully prostrate to Maitreya will be liberated from 1 billion eons of birth and death and will have their misdeeds purified. They will not be attached to the heavenly realms, but will generate the mindset upon unsurpassed awakening in the future under the Bodhi tree, the tree of the nāgas. Then the immeasurably great retinue rose from their seats. They bowed their heads at the feet of the Blessed One, and then bowed at the feet of Maitreya. They circled the Blessed One and Maitreya 100,000 times. Those who had not yet attained the path each made the following aspiration. By fervently making aspirations here in the presence of the Blessed One, may all of us, gods, humans, the 8 classes of non-human beings, and so forth, in the future, having abandoned our bodies, behold noble Maitreya, and be reborn in the heaven of joy. Then the Blessed One said, in the future, all of you will create merit, guard your discipline, and take birth in the presence of the Bodhisattva Maitreya. The Bodhisattva Maitreya will then bless all of you. The Blessed One then spoke to Upali. Upali, if you have such a view, it is said to be right view. Any other view would be a wrong view. The Venerable Ananda then rose from his seat, knelt down, joined his palms, and addressed the Blessed One. Excellent. The Blessed One has wonderfully explained Maitreya's qualities. In the future we shall strive to become such beings who attain the results of creating such merit. Therefore, Blessed One, what is the name of this Dharma discourse? How should we retain it? The Blessed One replied, Ananda, you should retain what the Thus Gone One has taught without forgetting anything. For the sake of future times, you shall reveal the path that leads to rebirth in the divine realms, disclose the marks of awakening, and prevent the lineage of the Thus Gone Ones from being interrupted. This discourse shall be known as the nirvana of the Bodhisattva Maitreya. It shall also be known as the Bodhisattva Maitreya's birth in the heaven of joy and encouragement for the seat of awakening. You must retain it. When the Blessed One said this, 1,000,000 bodhisattvas who had arrived from other pure lands attained the Shuramgama absorption. 800,000 gods generated the mindset upon unsurpassed awakening. They all made the aspiration to follow Maitreya and be reborn in Jambudvipa. After the Blessed One had spoken, the 4 retinues, as well as the 8 classes of non-human beings, gods, nāgas, and so forth, rejoiced in what the Blessed One had said. They bowed to the Blessed One and then departed. This completes the noble Sūtra, the Bodhisattva Maitreya's birth in the heaven of joy.